Most people think that one paycheck will change their life. They believe that if they could just make another $20,000 a year, all their money problems would disappear. But if that were true, high income earners would never struggle financially. The biggest lie keeping people broke isn't that they don't earn enough money. It's that income alone creates wealth. And that lie has trapped a lot of people. It keeps people chasing raises, promotions, better jobs, new businesses, and side hustles without ever asking one important question. What am I actually doing with the money once I get it? Because money coming in is only one part of the story. The other part is what happens after it hits your account. That is where most people lose. You can earn more money and still feel broke. You can get a raise and still live paycheck to paycheck. You can make six figures and still have no emergency fund, no investments, no savings, and no real plan. That sounds impossible until you look around and realize it happens all the time. People make more money, then immediately upgrade everything around them. The apartment gets bigger, the car payment gets higher, the phone gets newer, the clothes get better, the food gets more expensive, the subscriptions pile up, the weekend spending increases. Then a few months later, they feel the same exact pressure they felt before the raise ever happened. The numbers changed, but the stress stayed. That is because income and wealth are not the same thing. Income is what you earn. Wealth is what you keep, grow, and use to create more options for your future. And if you don't understand that difference, you can spend your whole life chasing more income while never actually building wealth. Let's say two people are sitting at the same table. One makes 55 grand a year, the other makes 150 grand a year. Most people would assume the person making 150 grand is doing better financially, and maybe they are. But maybe they're not. The person making 55 grand might have no car payment, a small emergency fund, no credit card debt, and $400 a month going into investments. The person making 150 grand might have two car payments, a mortgage they can barely afford, credit card debt, personal loans, expensive habits, and almost nothing left at the end of the month. One has a lower income, but they are building. The other has a higher income, but they are leaking money from every direction. This is why income can be misleading. A bigger paycheck can hide bad habits. It can cover poor decisions for a while. It can make someone look successful from the outside while they're financially fragile on the inside. And that is the part nobody likes to talk about. A lot of people don't want wealth. They just want the appearance of wealth. They want the car, the house, the clothes, the vacations, the restaurants, the new tech, and the lifestyle that makes other people think they're doing well. But looking wealthy and being wealthy are two completely different things. Looking wealthy often costs money. Being wealthy gives you options. Looking wealthy creates pressure, but being wealthy creates margin. Looking wealthy depends on other people's opinions. Being wealthy depends on your habits. That is why the first step in building wealth is not always making more money. The first step is telling the truth about what money is doing in your life right now. Where is it going? What is it building? Is it giving you more freedom, or is it locking you into more payments? Is it helping your future, or is it only funding your present? Those questions matter, because every dollar has a direction. It's either moving you closer to financial freedom, or it's moving you further away from it. Now, I want to be clear, making more money matters. Income matters. You can only cut expenses so far. At some point, earning more can speed up the process. A higher income can help you pay off debt faster, save faster, invest faster, and create opportunities you didn't have before. But more income only helps if your habits are ready to handle it. If your financial habits are broken at 40 grand a year, they usually won't be fixed automatically at 80 grand a year. They'll just become more expensive. That is why so many people get raises and still stay stuck. The raises doesn't change the person. It only gives a person more money to manage. And if the same thinking stays in place, the same problems come back with bigger numbers attached. This is where lifestyle inflation comes in. Lifestyle inflation is when your spending rises every time your income rises. You make more, so you spend more. At first, it feels normal. You tell yourself you deserve it. And honestly, sometimes you do need to improve your life. Maybe your old car really is unreliable. Maybe your apartment is too small. Maybe your family needs more space. Maybe you need better tools, better food, better systems, or better support. There's nothing wrong with improving your life. The problem starts when every raise becomes an excuse to increase your fixed expenses. Because once something becomes a monthly payment, it becomes part of your financial weight. A bigger car payment, a bigger rent payment, a bigger mortgage, more subscriptions, more insurance, more maintenance, more spending that has to be fed every single month. Then your income grows, but your freedom does not. That is the danger. You can earn more and still have less room to breathe, and that is why wealth is built in the gap between what comes in and what goes out. That gap is everything. If you earn $4,000 a month and spend $3,950, your gap is $50. If you earn $8,000 a month and spend $7,900, your gap is $100. On paper, the second person earns twice as much, but financially, they may not be much further ahead. Now imagine someone earns $4,000 a month and learns to live on $3,200. That leaves $800. That $800 can go towards debt. It can go towards savings. It can go towards investing. It can go towards a business. It can go towards a down payment. It can go towards freedom. That gap is where wealth begins, not in the total income, in the amount you keep and direct with purpose. That is a hard shift for people because we live in a culture that celebrates income. People talk about how much they make. They talk about job titles. They talk about businesses, about luxury purchases, about what they bought. But fewer people talk about what they keep. Fewer people talk about their savings rate. Fewer people talk about their debt, about their net worth, about their total financial peace. Because those things are quieter. They don't always look impressive online. Nobody claps when you don't buy something. Nobody sees the subscription you cancel. Nobody applauds when you put $50 into an emergency fund. Nobody is amazed when you drive the same car another year. But those quiet decisions are often the ones that change your life. That is what everyday wealth is about. It's not about pretending money is simple. It's not about acting like everyone starts from the same place. It's not about shaming people who are struggling. It's about learning how small, consistent decisions can create a different future. Because most people don't ruin their finances with one mistake. They drift there through hundreds of small decisions. A little extra spending here, a payment there, a subscription they forgot about, a car they couldn't afford, credit card debt they planned to pay off later, eating out because they were tired, buying something because they were stressed, ignoring the numbers because they didn't want to face them. Then one day they look up and wonder where all the money went. But the same thing works in reverse. You don't have to fix everything overnight. You can start with one better decision, then another, then another. You can cancel one unused subscription. You can save your first $25. You can pay extra on one debt. You can cook at home one more time this week. You can open a separate savings account. You can track your spending over 7 days. You can start learning about investing. You can find one way to increase your income. Build momentum. And once momentum starts, money begins to look less chaotic. You begin to see patterns. You notice where your money is leaking. You start thinking before you spend. You start asking better questions. Do I need this? Will I still care about this next week? Is this helping me build the life I say I want? Could this money serve a better purpose? Those questions may seem small, but they are powerful because wealth is built through direction. Every dollar needs a job. Some dollars pay bills. Some dollars buy food. Some protect you from emergencies. Some buy assets. Some dollars create memories while other dollars help people. The goal is not to hoard every dollar and never enjoy life. That's not freedom either. The goal is to stop letting money disappear without a plan. There is a difference between spending intentionally and spending emotionally. Intentional spending gives you control, while emotional spending often gives you regret. And if you want to build wealth, you have to start noticing the difference. One of the best things you can do this week is simple. Look at your last 30 days of spending, not to beat yourself up, not to feel guilty, just to see the truth. Pull up your bank account and ask, where did my money actually go? How much went to food? How much went to subscriptions? How much was impulse purchases? How much went to debt payments or savings or investments? Most people are surprised when they do this. They think they have an income problem. Then they realize they also have a direction problem. Their money is moving, but it's not building. That realization can sting a little bit. But it is also the beginning of change. Because once you can see the pattern, you can change the pattern. The second thing you can do is create a simple gap goal. Don't overcomplicate this. Pick a number. Maybe it's $25 this week. Maybe it's $100 this month. Maybe it's $500 over the next 90 days. The number matters less than the habit. You're training yourself to keep money on purpose. That is a skill. And once you build that skill, you can grow it. The third thing you can do is avoid upgrading your lifestyle the next time your income increases. This is one of the fastest ways to build wealth. If you get a raise, don't immediately spend the raise. Keep your lifestyle the same for a while. Use the difference to pay off debt or to build an emergency fund. Use it to invest, create more breathing room. That one decision can change the direction of your finances, because when your income rises but your lifestyle stays steady, the gap gets bigger. And when the gap gets bigger, your options grow. Now the fourth thing is to stop comparing your finances to someone else's highlight reel. You don't know how people are paying for what they show you. You don't know how the debt, or you don't know the debt behind the lifestyle. You don't know the stress behind the vacation. You don't know the payment behind the car or the pressure behind the house. Comparison can push you into spending more money that you don't have, only to impress people who are not responsible for your future. And that is a bad trade. Your financial goals need to match your life, your income, and your responsibilities, so that you can also match the future that you're wanting. Now, the fifth thing is to start thinking in terms of ownership. What do you own that grows? What do you own that produces income? What do you own that gives you stability? For some people, that starts with an emergency fund. For some, it starts with paying off high interest debt. Others, it's about investing a small amount every month. For some, it starts with building a side hustle or with learning a skill that can increase their income. That path can look different for different people, but the principle is the same. Stop using all your money to maintain a lifestyle and start using some of it to build your future. That's the shift. And it does not have to be dramatic at first. You don't need to become a finance expert this week. You don't need to understand every investment. You don't need to launch a business tomorrow. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to stop believing the lie that more income will automatically fix everything, because it won't. More income without direction creates more chaos. More income with discipline can create freedom. And that's the difference. So the question is not only how can I make more money? That's a good question, but it's not the only question. You also need to ask, how can I keep more? How can I grow more while wasting less? How can I owe less? How can I build more margin? How can I make my money serve my future instead of only serving my present? These are wealth building questions. And that's what we're going to talk about on this channel. We're going to talk about budgeting in a way that actually makes sense. We're going to talk about side hustles without pretending every idea is easy money. We're going to talk about investing in simple terms. We're going to talk about AI, freelancing, online income, and other money habits. We're going to talk about what it looks like for everyday people to build wealth one decision at a time. Because you don't have to be rich to start building wealth. You have to be intentional, honest, consistent. You have to decide that your future matters more than every impulse you feel today. That's not always easy, but it is possible. And it starts smaller than most people think. It starts with the next paycheck. Not because that paycheck will magically change your life, but because you can decide to handle it differently. You can decide before it arrives where it needs to go. And you can give your money a plan before your emotions give it one for you. And over time, your gap can become savings. Savings can become investments. Investments can become options. Options become freedom. That is how everyday wealth is built. So here's my challenge for you. Before you see my next video, look at your money. Look at the real numbers and find one place where money is leaking. Then we'll make one decision to close that leak. It might be small, but that's fine. Small decisions repeated over time are stronger than big intentions that never become action. And if this is the kind of conversation you want more of, subscribe to Everyday Wealth. This channel is for ordinary people who want to make smarter financial decisions, build better habits, grow their income, and create long-term wealth without chasing hype. Because let's be honest, the goal is not to look rich. The goal is to build something real. Small decisions, big long-term results. I'll see you in the next video.